If you keep telling your partner to do things or improve things, change behavior or do this or do that, and you keep telling them and you're getting nothing, you're getting rejection, you keep getting pushback on that, and it's giving you the shits and the frustration, there's a very good reason for that. So in this video, I'm going to show you the reason why. So let's get into it. So just feel into those words. I'm telling you. Just have some awareness about what that says to somebody. I'm telling you this, which is quite often a one-way conversation. It's I'm right and you're wrong. And it's not open for discussion. I'm telling you. It's heavy. And when you quite often are telling somebody something, it's usually an argument. It's usually there's no discussion. But have some awareness about the other person when you say this. I'm telling you. It's a hierarchy-based authoritarian version of trying to get someone to change something. It's not going to happen, because when you say those words and the vibration and the frequency of the words I'm telling you, the other person, what you're eliciting in the other person emotionally and hormonally is stress hormones. So when you do that and you're in the stress hormones, you then, from a brain perspective, go into your amygdala, which then is your fight or flight. And when you're in a fight or flight, your ability to be able to do anything emotionally is zero, right? You're basically in defense mode, you're protecting yourself, and you're not open to any kind of insight or change of behavior. It's the worst thing you can do. So this is why people, when you're saying, I'm telling you to do that, it's the wrong way to try and get someone to do something, because the words I'm telling you usually comes with the fact is I want to be right about something, or I want you to do something that I want to do. And you can't change human behavior by trying to push it through the amygdala into fight or flight, because you don't get any behavior change in that place. All you get is pushback and protection and defensiveness, right? And then you're wondering why, well, they don't listen to me. It's like, no, because what you're saying to them is releasing certain hormones in their brain that then allows them to defend, right? So you go, well, why is it working? Of course it's never going to work, because you're using the wrong tool set to try and get human changing. You can't get there by shoving it into the amygdala and getting a defense mechanism popped out and going, oh, why don't they change? It's like, well, I'm telling them, it's like, no, it doesn't work. So how would you get people to do this? Well, it first starts with a bit of self-awareness, is that the words I'm telling you is never going to get an outcome that you want. If you need to stop using those words in the first place. The first thing, if you want to go, is how do I be able to change someone's behavior and get an outcome that I want? So you need to go and understand, what is the problem and what do I want to be able to get the end game here to be? And you also have to understand that life is perspective. There is no real absolute truth. It doesn't exist. There are only perspectives that we see life through. And perspectives are very much our own, based on how we've been brought up, how we see ourselves through either it's good or insignificance or scarcity or lack or scared or hurt, whatever it is, right? We will see the world in a certain way, which is ours only. Nobody sees the world that we do. So when you're looking at saying something, you have to understand that the way that you see something is yours alone. Nobody else sees the world the way that you do, because it's based on your history and the way that you're being brought up and the way that you've sort of been programmed throughout your life, right? That's innate to you. And your partner has exactly the same system, but they'll see life a completely different way. So you can't try and convince someone to see the world your way by saying, I'm telling you this. What you can do, though, is understand and go, well, we want to talk about this, but my perspective of this was this, without leaving the words I'm telling you out of it. I see this event this way, and I feel this way about that. What's your perspective on this? How do you see it that way? Why do you see it that way? Because you need to understand is that if you keep coming across and trying to force something down someone's throat and go, I'm telling you this, and then pushing the stress hormones through them straight into amygdala, which is fight or flight, you're never going to get there. But if you open up a space that's open, in which you have to understand 93% of communication is non-verbal. So when you get to the point of having a conversation with people, you watch body language, tone, where you're sitting, how you're sitting. What kind of presence do you bring? What energy do you bring? Because if it's aggressive, they're going to feel that. If it's open, they're going to feel much more open to be able to have the conversation. So what you want to be able to do is have a conversation where you're eliciting a different type of hormone. So you want to be able to, get into that limbic system where you've got good hormones and good release and trust. And then you can open up a conversation that gets an outcome that you do want, but you can't get there being aggressive. That's why most conversations, whether it's a fight, go nowhere because nobody wins. You may be right about something, but nobody's listening to you, right? So if you get to the point going, okay, I need to have this conversation with my partner, and start with how you're presenting yourself, and then show up as far as, hey, this is my perspective on this event. This is the way I see it because of these reasons. It is just a perspective. It's my perspective. What is your perspective of this, and what do you need out of that? And then how do we come to a common agreement or a common goal as to what this looks like? Or how do we move forward with this with the understanding, right? Because that's what happens with most people. It's the understanding of emotions, not than just going straight to the solution, which a lot of people do, right? They go straight to the solution trying to fix things. Like, no, that's not how humans work. Humans want understanding about their point of view and how they feel. So if you're having a conversation with, I'm telling you, stop, because it's not going to work, right? Open up with, understand that life is about perspective, and your perspective is just that perspective. Other people have a different perspective based on the way they view the world and the way they view themselves and the way they view life, right? And the more you understand your partner and how they view the world and their life, then you can have a much deeper conversation and get to a place where it's a much better outcome for both of you, because you're having a conversation which is much more open and healthy, rather than just trying to ram shit down people's throats and saying, well, I'm right, and I'm telling you to do this. It's like, it doesn't work. You need to understand how to connect with someone's emotional system, their limbic system. Without that, you can't operate a relationship. You cannot get there trying to use logic or fight or flight to change human behavior. It doesn't work. That's why there's 60% divorces these days, because people do not know the skill set of being able to have an emotional connection, because they're trying to speak through logic or through fear, and it doesn't work. So if you want to learn how to be able to have great relationship and learn to be able to communicate with the limbic system, with the system I call logic override, and have a great relationship and go straight to that place where you can have that open communication, click on the link below. Book a call, and I can see if you're right fit to be able to teach you guys how to be able to have a great conversation, how to resolve your current conflicts, how to have the relationship of your dreams by learning about what I call logic override, to be able to have that conversation with the limbic system. That is where the hormones, emotions, and feelings lie. And you can communicate with that and have a completely different relationship. Okay. Catch you guys later.